As Afghans grow insecure in an increasingly hostile situation following Taliban's escalated attacks, the global organizations are bracing up for massive displacement, which they anticipate might follow the departure of foreign forces from the country. While the talks between the two sides, the Kabul administration and the Taliban are underway, most of the observers are skeptical of it, leading to any fructiferous conclusion.
It's only been weeks since the US-led NATO forces started cutting down on the number of troops present in the war-torn country. The insurgent Taliban have come out all guns blazing. In a clear hint of what would follow, the attacks have risen sharply. The international organizations working in the country are their prime targets. The others too, including the ISIS, have found an opportunity to resurge, triggering fear among the civilians who had endured a brutal Taliban rule from 1996 to 2001. Refugee Agency of United Nations anticipates a massive displacement within Afghanistan and from Afghanistan to other countries in months following the foreign group's exit.
What we have observed in Afghanistan in the past couple of years is a rise in violence in various parts of the country, and with the withdrawal of the international troops, this is possibly or likely going to become worse, and therefore we are doing contingency planning inside the country for further displacement and in neighboring countries in case people might cross borders. However, what is also very important to note is that there are talks between the Taliban and the government.
The observers say the fear and panic is for real, as the Taliban have vowed for years to kill those who have worked for US or NATO. If things go bad, they say, then a major part of the 40 million Afghan population will come under Taliban's influence and it will have no option but to flee. According to UNHCR, there are currently some 2.5 million registered refugees from Afghanistan globally, while another 4.8 million have been displaced within the country. After 20 years, the United States has started a withdrawal of its remaining 2,500 troops and aims to be completely out of the country by September 11. Around 7,000 non-US forces from mainly NATO countries, along with Australia, New Zealand and Georgia, are also planning to leave by September 11.
Up to 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot more attention for a 10 or 15-year period from the international community on Afghanistan. And that helped contain problems there because there was a lot of engagement from the wider world, in the region, across the world, actually. That definitely has dissipated and weakened. And that is a sort of problem when it comes to drawing attention to the needs of Afghanistan and getting support for them.
The Afghan problem is not just about the displacement of civilians, but it is multidimensional. The United Nations estimates put Afghanistan among countries that are in dire need of humanitarian assistance. It says some 18.4 million people, almost half the country's population, is in need of help. It has also appealed for $1.3 billion in funding for 2021. So far, it has only received about 23% of that. And despite the two sides holding multiple discussions and resuming the peace talks after a halt, the experts and the government of Afghanistan appears unsure of achieving anything significant. And observers who back the decision of UN say it is better to acknowledge the alarm and prepare beforehand than to regret the Taliban carnage that might follow later.